Hey, babe.
Hey.
I have a question for you.
This is another crazy picture or something?
No, I have a question for you.
Yeah?
If you had to describe our first year of marriage in one word, what would the word be?
Learning, it's two.
One word. One word.
Perseverance. Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Very Chivalry is tough with these chairs.
Chivalry is tough. Hello, guys.
Hey, viewers.
So, what are we going to talk about today, babe?
We're going to talk about our first year of marriage.
Yes.
The ups, the downs, in-betweens.
The in-betweens. We did actually have some in-betweens.
Yeah.
We've never talked about this before. We've talked about do you remember when we first moved to Georgia and blah, 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 how it was. But we've not actually sat down and talked about.
First year of marriage.
Yeah. So this will be interesting. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about our first year of marriage. Part of the reason why we want to talk about it is because we are going to have our 4th year anniversary coming up soon. And it's...
Hopefully.
Babe. In July. So yeah, I feel like this is a pretty appropriate time to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with you, babe. How do you think our first year of marriage was? And start from the beginning, if you can.
So we got married at 6:05, July 17th. So 6:06 we walked down. About 6:10 we got to the venue. 6:12 the speeches happened. No, I'm just kidding.
You know I do have to go to work after this, right? So let's just...
All right. Yeah, I feel like the first month or so we didn't really have time to do anything other than survive, and because we moved to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. She was looking for a job as a stylist with no clientele. So those of you that know anything about being a hairstylist, you have customers that you have, and if she moves to a city, she's just somebody. She's got to grind and fill. So she was looking to get a job.
And also, I was a new stylist. I hadn't been doing hair that long anyway, so I didn't have
social media following.
Social media following, really. But
showing how good you were.
The first year of marriage, actually, we moved. So we got married. We went on a honeymoon for 3 nights, 4 days and 3 nights, which was amazing.
All inclusive.
All inclusive. And then while we were doing that, my mom packed up our entire apartment. So we got home on the 4th night. We got home. Everything was packed up, and we waited one day. We had to drop off some papers to make sure that we were actually married after our wedding or something. And then we woke up 4 o'clock in the morning. We left and drove to Atlanta. So within
11 at night.
1 week of us getting married, we went on a honeymoon. And then we drove all the way to Atlanta from Boston, which was 19 hours. It was the 2 of us in the car, my mom and our cat, 19 hours. So it was interesting. Oh, and my mom surprised us and said, well, since I packed up your entire house, I will not be helping you drive. And that was a surprise. But it was fair.
Yeah, she did the whole house.
But we didn't expect to do the 19 hours ourselves. So it was crazy. But so then we get to Atlanta, and Halsey, you start working within a day.
Yeah, because we played one day to be tourists, visit Atlanta. I think we just went to the Coca-Cola Museum when I went to varsity, whatever. The next day, I had my It wasn't at my actual school, but it was the new employees of Atlanta Public Schools. I had to go do the orientation and everything.
Yeah.
So we did that. We didn't have a house or an apartment or anything. We lived with my brother and sister-in-law and their 4 dogs.
For 2 months.
In South Atlanta.
We outwore our welcome.
Outwore our welcome.
And that was challenging. It was challenging because, so like Palsy and I are night owls. And we like to go out and, do whatever. And my brother and sister-in-law are the opposite.
Early,
yeah, so like they would be upstairs by around like 8 o'clock or whatever, and they had an alarm system. So we always felt bad like going in and out. So it was challenging because one, we were poor. Like poor.
No money. Yeah.
I didn't have a job. Palsy was working but only getting paid part-time or something. No, you remember in the beginning they were paying you as like a substitute. Yeah, that first month.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So like the first maybe month or 2 months for your licensure, they were paying him part-time. I had no job. We just moved, didn't have a place to live. And so we outwore our welcome. And so we're like, okay, we have to find somewhere to live. So we ended up moving into like this absolutely horrible apartment. And so I guess instead of taking them like through every little thing we went through, point blank, it was really hard not being financially stable, me just starting a job in September. We got married in July. So I had just started working in September. So we were going based off of half of one income.
One teacher income.
Yeah. And that was really hard. Like I think that we struggled with that a little bit because like I need my like time to have alone, but we also wanted time to spend together, and it was really hard because we didn't have the money to like do anything.
We like to spend money and have fun. Yeah. But I'd say it was really tough, but it was the cliche, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, that type of mentality. And we really it forced us to think creatively of spending quality time. And it was one of the best birthdays, not because of the money that was spent, what we did, but the gesture and the meaning behind it. Tvon, because we had no money, she I don't know how she did. She said for me to leave my car unlocked. And after school, I see a note that says, change into these clothes.
He's a PE teacher, so I was not about to go on a date with him in his PE clothes. Yeah,
she's like, change into these clothes and meet me at Piedmont Park, which is across the street from my old school.
You see how we like to change, what do you call it?
I don't know what you're saying.
Usually the guy will be like, oh, change into this. And
gender roles?
Yes, reverse gender roles. I said, babe, change into this outfit and meet me here.
Yeah. So I change into the outfit and she gives me instructions where she is. And I walk through Piedmont. It was like a Hallmark movie. It was really unbelievable.
We actually have maybe some of it recorded.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we'll show you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like and subscribe.
Oh, yeah. We forgot to tell you guys.
Yeah.
Stop everything you're doing right now and press the subscribe button.
And if you don't, then you're not seeing it's not happening. You're not seeing the video we're going to show them of the birthday.
They can, okay, cool. Okay, so I'm in Piedmont Park right now. Today is Okay, by the way, I dropped off a change of clothes and Okay, this part's basic. I brought a ball just in case so we can play. So we have our champagne flutes, Subway, because I didn't make nothing. Okay, I don't know if you guys saw this. It's on. You can't tell because it's... So I can see them way down there. Right there. It's behind this thing. Palsy! Here he comes. He sees me. It's my hubby's birthday. Tell everybody how you feel.
Feel great drinking this. So we go up to this like big park, this lawn in Piedmont, and she had this whole picnic with like one 6-foot long Subway sandwich with like some snacks. Oh, yeah. Did you have candles or something?
That is all we could afford.
Yeah, one sandwich.
Subway sandwich.
But it was so romantic and so sweet. And she looked so cute. She had her little summer attire on, and
I went to the dollar store and got the
dollar store
tea light candles that. Like, you get like $4 for $1. Yeah. I mean, so we tried to think outside the box when it came to like spending time with each other and making things special. But I know it was definitely a challenging time because something that I struggle with is like when finances aren't right. That is, I get pretty stressed out about that. And so I'm definitely a lot better about it now. I also have a lot more money now, but I'm a lot better about it now than I was then. That was something that really stressed me out. And so, we definitely struggle through that. But you know what? They always say that money is one of the biggest issues that or one of the biggest reasons that people divorce. And I'm telling you, we went through every money issue that there possibly
with our apartment people. We wanted to say screw you and leave, but we didn't have the money to leave, and we just had to stay there. And but you probably wouldn't have be as much better dealing with financial stress now if you didn't go through all the shitty stuff.
So as far as our spirituality, I think that it was something that we struggled with because we were still trying to figure out, how to be Adventist and how Pawsey could be, how Pawsey is Jewish and how we were going to mesh the two. In my mind, it wasn't like a meshing thing. Like it was like a we agreed to raise our kids this way, and this is what we, want to do. We've talked about this, and so I was very much like, no, this is how it has to go. And so that was a conversation.
I remember that talk.
Yeah, you remember that too?
I do. I know what you're talking about.
That was a conversation that we had a lot. And I think we struggled through that. So our first year, we were really trying to figure out how to make that work and how to compromise on both ends because, I was asking for some things that he was like, that's a lot. Like, what do you, that's a lot to ask for. And then, I expected some things coming into marriage that, wasn't necessarily going to be the reality, at least at that point. But one thing that we, I guess, I can't speak on then, but something that we know now that I wish that we knew then was that what's most important right now anyways is our relationship with God. Like that we have a good relationship with God together, that he is in the middle of our relationship, and that individually we also have a good relationship with God. So how do you feel like would you agree with that?
I do. I think piggybacking off of that idea of if you're good with God, everything will figure itself out. I feel like I remember that conversation, and it was triggered because I wanted my kids to play Little League, and she said if there's a game on Saturday, they're not doing Little League.
I remember that, yeah.
And so she said, I want the kids, we agree that they'd be raised this, and I basically said, well, okay, but they still can do Little League. And I'm like, what about these athletes that are Christian that play and that's their platform? And
it was a big conversation.
But she, at that time, didn't really know anything about Judaism. And I feel like when we went to Israel this year, you learned a lot more like, oh, okay, this is where they align, this is where they're different. And I feel like that sort of helped us both open up and be open-minded to, I don't know, find that happy medium.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Let's change gears real quick.
Okay.
Pawsey and I were poor, yes, but we clubbed a lot. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We went to the club like every weekend, and like the clubs here in Atlanta are like clubs. Like it's very different than going to the club in Boston. And so I feel like we were going to the club like literally every weekend. I say we didn't do much, but that is the one thing we did.
Then we went
to
have money.
The club, and it was literally just like we didn't have any friends, so it was like Pawsey and I.
We didn't have friends, but we like bought drinks for everybody.
Yeah.
We were the richest. One
Poor
teacher
people.
and 2 salaries.
At the club.
Oh, what's your name? Peter. Oh, dude, my name's Paul. It begins with a P. You want a drink?
Or we would go to the store and we would buy nips, which are like the little airplane bottles.
Yeah.
And we would get like 10 of those. And then we'd show up to the club at like 9 o'clock, park right outside the club.
Before you had to pay for a cover.
Before you had to pay for a cover, so we'd get in for free. So, and then we'd park like right outside the club. We'd drink our nips in the car real quick. And then the club would open at 10. And we were there at 10. And we'd get in there and just kind of hang out. And we never bought like...
Tipsy for the whole night. Didn't have to buy anything.
Yeah, didn't buy any drinks. So
$10.
It was. We had definitely a lot of fun. Our first year, but a lot of learning and a lot of discovery about each other and how to be married and how to live together. Maybe one day we should do a video about
clubbing with the Finemans.
No. We should do a video about like, you know, the things that we learned in marriage and like maybe giving some marriage advice.
Yeah.
From the four-year veterans.
Yeah, you could charge people for it.
Okay, so to end our video, I think we should say, and I want you to start. We should say, because I don't have an answer. If you could go back to our first year of marriage and give us advice.
Oh, okay, so 4-year us goes to first year us.
If you could go back, to our first year of marriage, what advice would you give us?
Okay. I think it's ironically enough what we talked about like a couple days ago. If you put God first in our marriage and put each other first above everything else, stuff really figures itself out. And you hate, people. I mean, I feel like especially Americans, they want everything quick. They want everything now. They want to solve everything now. There's no laid back. But like when you said you lived in Costa Rica, everything's sort of whatever. Like everyone wants results and want everything solved now, and they can't deal with just their faith. Just be okay. But I feel like if we knew that when we were if we knew that and just knew that everything was going to be okay when we were bouncing between jobs, you were looking, we didn't have much money, we would have been a lot less stressed out. Probably would have had more quality time with each other, and we would have approached it much better than we did.
So lean on our faith.
Faith / putting each other first ahead of job stress or whatever.
Yeah.
What about you?
First year of marriage. If I could go back, I think that I would say, and this is something that we knew already, but I don't think we knew the importance of it, especially for us two. I would tell us to plan ahead our date nights and to always be intentional about it and make sure that we have that quality time, because that's something that like we definitely have realized that we need for our marriage, especially because we work 2 different schedules, so we definitely have to be super intentional about the time that we have together and making that time with one another. So that's what I would say.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So far, so good. We made it 4 years.
Drink to that, almost.
Cheers. Thank you guys for watching. Leave us a comment if you have anything that you want to ask us about our first year of marriage. We try to be an open book as much as possible with you guys.
Singular.
Yes. Thank you guys again for watching, and we will see you later.
Have a good day.